Good morning, children. Welcome to the online class. We are going to do our biology lesson of class 7. The lesson is nervous system. You can see your book Cosmos Biology class 7. Please open to the page number 71. Nervous system chapter 6. Introduction. Like other systems in the body, the control and coordination in the body is carried out by the nervous system. It consists of an extensive network of long and slender thread-like nerves spread throughout our body. The nerves are communication lines of our body just like telecommunication wires. It gathers and uses data from the environment. The human nervous system receives information, process and then interpret it and later respond to it accordingly. So children, the nervous system of our body is having nerves just like a wire. When we plug anything, the electricity is passing into the fans and the light through a particular wire. Same way in our body, from the brain, there are nerves which are going through our body to different parts, and they are giving senses to each and every part of our body. This is called nerves, nervous system. Let's read nervous system. The system which controls and coordinates all the activities of body part in response to stimuli by the conduction of nerve impulse is called nervous system. And when these nerves get stimulated, then the body part get worked, or the nerves impulse is called nervous system. It is made up of a structurally and functionally specialized tissue as nervous tissue, and each and every nerve is in a very structurally and functionally in a pattern, in a network. It is being made, and it is a specialized tissue which is making it into a nervous tissue. The nervous tissue is made up of nerve cell or neurons. A neuron is a cell specialized to conduct impulse called nerve impulse. The main function of the nerve system are as follows: transmit stimuli through the sense organs, enable us to think, reason and store information. What are these nerves doing? It is helping the brain to store and receive and enable us to think, and all the information is also getting stored. Control and balance various voluntary muscles action. It also controls and coordinates involuntary activity such as digestion of food, beating of the heart, respiratory movement and so on. So children, they are doing other works just like the beating of a heart, the movement in our body parts, the respiratory movement, the lungs and the digestive system, the stomach or the intestine and the kidneys. All these are done by the function of the nervous system. There are parts of nervous system, children. The various system can be divided into two main parts: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Nervous system, central. Children, you can see on the board, nervous system, central nervous system is having the brain and the spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system is somatic nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So these are we are going to study. Let's turn our pages to central nervous system. The central nervous system, CNS, includes the brain and the spinal cord. It is referred as central because it is integrated information from the integral body and conditions activity across the whole organism. So why it is called the central nervous system? Because it is the main part of the brain. It is having the spinal cord and it is centrally formed. The brain. Let's study the brain. The brain is the part of central nervous system CNS and it is highest coordinating center in the body. Children, the biggest organ of our body is our brain. Please draw this diagram. It will come in your exams. An adult human brain weighs about 1350 grams. So you can imagine how big your brain is. The brain is divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Let's see the forebrain. The largest and main thinking part of the brain is forebrain. It consists of cerebrum, hypothalamus and oxyfactory lobes. Forebrain has region which receive sensory impulse from various receptors. Separate areas for forebrain are specialized for hearing, smell, sight and so on. Cerebrum. It is the largest part of the forebrain and consists of sensory area to receive impulse from eyes, tongue, nose, skin, etc. Cerebrum is divided into two large, deeply convoluted part called cerebral hemisphere. The outer surface of cerebral hemisphere is highly convoluted with rigid and grooves. So cerebrum is playing the major part here. It is connected to the eyes, tongue, nose and skin and it divided into two largely deep parts in the central hemisphere. Each hemisphere has an outer and inner region. The outer portion, cortex of the cerebrum. Can you see cortex in this diagram? Yes. And the outer portion is cortex of the cerebrum, contains cell bodies of the neurons and it is grey in color, also called grey matter. The convolution in cerebrums are actually the folds of grey layer. These folds are grooves and respectively called gyri and sluci depressions. The inner portion of the cerebrum consists of white matter which mainly contains the axons of the nerve fibers. Corpus callosum, hard body, is the sheet of fibers connecting the two cerebral hemisphere. It is involved in the transfer of information from one hemisphere to the other. Each cerebral hemisphere is subdivided into four lobes: frontal, partial, occipital and temporal. Each of these lobes has some occasions area, association area. The association area sort out, interpret and decide the action to be taken. Next point, frontal lobe is associated mainly with learning memory, logic, analysis, foresight, creativity, higher mental activity and some emotion. Partial lobe is responsible for touch, taste, smell and temperature. Occipital lobe is the area for visual reception. Temporal lobe is responsible for hearing as it has auditory receptors. So children, we will stop here. We will meet in our next part of the video. Thank you children.